All right, greetings and salutations to all my fellow Marsh County board members and friends. Welcome to tonight's Marsh County School Boards Association virtual meeting. I call this meeting to order. Flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, a real quick side story. Most of you know, when I became the Marsh County School Board's president, I found out there was no gavel. So I have been using my grandchildren's play school hammer. However, in January, I received a package and I received this beautiful gavel. It has my name on it and it says Marsh County School Board's president. And I'd like to thank Mr. Michael Jacobs who is the Bergen County School Board's president, for sending it to me. So thank you, Mike. I didn't know you were going to be on tonight, but I had already planned on highlighting your gavel. So I thank you very much. It works well.
It's a pleasure, Bernadette.
Okay, so moving on with our meeting. Okay, Marsh County, here's our meeting by the numbers. Tonight, we're supposed to have 95 people attending virtually. Though the following counties are represented: Bergen, Essex, Sussex, Union. We have 31 of our 39 districts represented. Let's give ourselves a round of applause for taking the time to come together to learn, share, and better equip ourselves to serve our local boards of education. Yay to us. Before we get to tonight's programs and breakout rooms, I have a few county housekeeping items and dates to go over. First, a very big welcome to all our board members who are attending their first county meeting. Congratulations. We are all proud of you for taking the time to gather, share, and get to know us and our mission. We exist because you exist. We are here to help you become an informed, knowledgeable, and better board member. We normally have 4 or 5 county association meetings a year. We usually meet in person, except for our winter meeting. As an FYI, the benefit of having in-person meetings is we feed you, because at school boards, we've learned that if you feed them, they will come. Okay, let's mark our calendars. On March 20th at County College of Marsh, we will honor our unsung heroes. The Unsung Hero program is a recognition program to identify students who make outstanding contributions to their schools and communities, but may often be overlooked by traditional student recognition programs. Students may have overcome difficult academic or personal challenges, modeled good citizenship, or exhibit a spirit and quiet strength that inspired them, or they have achieved academic success despite disabilities, language barriers, or other significant challenges. Currently, we are looking for a high school who would like to have their band perform that evening. If you have any interest or would like to showcase your students, please contact Rob or myself. On May 2nd, we will be at Roxbury High School, where we will have our awards and recognition ceremony for board members, and we will present our scholarship and unsung hero monetary award winners. Last year, we had the ceremony, the first of its kind in our county, at Hanover Park Regional. Simply put, they were the perfect host, setting the standards and setting the bar very high for future host sites. However, I have it on good authority that Roxbury plans to raise the bar. In a few minutes, Rob will go over those schools who have not yet submitted their Unsung Hero nomination, and I ask, if possible, to reach out to your administrators to ensure that they have the necessary paperwork to nominate a student for this truly outstanding honor. Currently, the very hardworking Awards and Recognition Committee has secured $11,000, Mike Jacobs, $11,000 in sponsorship money to be awarded. Also, please keep in mind that the 3rd annual Irene LaFave Excellence in Boardsmanship Award is presented to the Marsh County School Board member who exhibits the same selfless sacrifice, commitment, and dedication that Irene has for many years. That nomination must be by board resolution and is due to Rob no later than Friday, April 1st. I'm asking that you please go back to your board, have a discussion, and find that board member who deserves the recognition for all they do. If they were nominated last year and didn't win, nominate them again. Show them how much you care. All nominees will be recognized May 2nd at Roxbury and the winner announced. A quick Board of Directors update. We had an opening on the Morris County Board of Directors. The Board of Directors met and appointed Judy Mayer from Parsippany to fill the spot in area number 2. Welcome aboard, Judy. Our bylaws committee is still working very hard and diligently to update and modernize our bylaws. We'll be meeting one more time this month, and we should have a finished product for our board of directors to review in March. On Saturday, January 27th, we held the first Morris County Presidents and the first in 2024 Morris County President and Vice President Forum. The event was well attended and had 19 of the 39 school districts represented by 28 members. Members of the Morris County Board of Directors also attended. As an FYI, Morris County continues to lead from the front as we are the only county in the state with this type of informative, informational meetings for its leaders. Our next Presidents and Vice Presidents Forum will be held on Thursday, March 14th. Location is still being determined, and one of the topics up for discussion will be the pros, cons, and benefits of moving your election back to April now that the governor has signed new legislation that levels the playing field and allows boards to be nonpartisan. Please watch your email for further details. Also, the NJSBA connection. As we continue to set the bar, Morris County will take the lead on creating an NJSBA connection webpage for presidents and vice presidents only. Our success will determine whether this program will be rolled out to the other 21 counties. Our ever capable county coordinator, Rob, will go over this in more detail. Finally, I partnered with Charlene Peterson, our county service rep, to establish and create the Morris County Resource Support Group, or in short, the MCRSG. The sole purpose of this resource group will be for the new or experienced board members who need additional resources and support, or who would simply like to talk to a fellow board member. The group will also mentor new board members who want the extra support and help. A separate email will go out to the county with further details and information on how to access or be part of the program. I know Charlene has already referred a fellow board member to one of our group leaders for further assistance, and I'm told it was received well. Tonight's training will have 3 breakout sessions. Before we go into the breakout rooms, Justin Masella, councilman from the township of Parsippany Troy Hills, will present an informative program on pilot programs, an acronym for Payment in Lieu of Taxes program, and the effect on Morris County and our school systems. That presentation will be followed by a brief legislative update on Assembly Bill A1107 by John Burns. But before we get there, it is my honor to introduce Morris County's own Dr. Karen Cordolino, president of the New Jersey School Boards Association, who will give us an update and some greetings. Karen, all you.
Okay, make sure I'm not muted. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be at the Morris County meeting. Some of you may know that when I became president, I set some goals for myself, and one of the goals is to visit all 21 counties in person. So even though I'm here with you tonight, I'm not going to count this as as checking off a county that I visited. When I do make the visits, I go over the 3 goals that I've established for myself. I'm going to skip that part and do that sometime later in the year. I believe at your May 2nd, at the May 2nd meeting. In the meantime, I did want to share that the officers and Dr. Purnell had a very productive few days down in Washington. We were there from the 27th to the 30th. We visited with 8 legislators, that's 7 Congress people, and one senator, Cory Booker. We either met with them directly or their staff. And we were there to advocate for the public school children. Items of discussion included special funding, special education funding, funding for mental health, universal meals, teacher shortage. I must say that the legislators and or their staff members were very receptive. They understood. You know, of course, it all means money, but they were interested in learning some of the challenges that we're facing in public education. So I'll leave it there until we see each other again. And I'm looking forward to tonight's program. Thank you, Bernadette.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Cordolino. Okay, before we get to our next speaker, I would just like to remind this group of hard chargers from Morris County that if you don't lead from the front like Dr. Cordolino and Irene, the view never changes. Ponder that for a while. And now I'd like to introduce Charlene Peterson, our field service rep, the woman, the myth, and the legend, keeping Morris County leading from the front and second to none, Charlene Peterson.
Thank you so much, Bernadette. Not quite sure how to respond to that, but it's great to see everyone here tonight. So I just have a couple updates to share. So one of them is, and I know some of you have been asking me, saying, those of you that are working on your certifications, saying, when are you going to provide some more statewide and regional opportunities so that you can, fulfill the certifications that you're working on? So just wanted to make you aware that 3 are coming up that we are putting called a leadership series, but really anyone can attend. And they're going to be kind of both in person and virtual. So there'll be a virtual component to them. And then when they go into breakouts, the breakouts will only be in person. So you'll be able to experience part of them. So the 3 dates are March 2nd, and that one's going to be on the board's role in personnel. March 16th is going to be school finance and funding. And then April 12th is communication. So the 2nd is going to be the in-person portion, will be in the central part of the state. March 16th, the in-person will be in the southern part of the state. And then the April 12th will be here in the northern part of the state. I believe it's going to be at CCM, but I don't know if that's been finalized yet or not.
Yes, CCM.
Okay, so Rob said it is finalized. So, again, an opportunity for those of you that have been waiting for that. And then also, we know that the Delegates Assembly is coming up, and March 14th is the deadline for submitting any resolutions. And one of the things that a group from New Jersey School Boards did is put together kind of a how-to and just added it onto the Delegates Assembly page of our website. They called it Characteristics of an Effective Delegate Assembly Resolution. And it provides practical assistance on how to write an effective resolution and identifies common pitfalls of resolutions that have been rejected, just so that we can continue to help make this a meaningful process for you, and also help those resolutions that you submit, be able to continue to move through the process. So those were the only 2 updates that I had for the group tonight. So thank you, and look forward to a great meeting tonight.
All right, great. Thank you, Charlene. Always our pleasure. All right, as we move on, we are going to hear from Mr. Rob Chair, our very capable Morris County Coordinator. Rob?
Thank you, Bernadette. So real quick, I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the unsung heroes that's coming up. I'm just going to bring us to the Morris County page real quick that has the information. Okay, so like Bernadette said, the 2024 Unsung Heroes is going to be at County College of Morris on Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. Check-in will start at 6, and we're going to start the award ceremony promptly at 6:30. Each K through 12 and 9 through 12 district in Morris County can nominate 1 12th grader per high school. So because there's some of the Parsippany and the other Morris Hills, Hanover Park, that have 2 high schools. Each high school can have a 12th grader. And then each K through 8 district will have 1 8th grader. And then Mine Hill, the 1 K through 6 district, can have the 6th grader. So as of right now, we have 15 schools that are in. Tomorrow's instead of going through them all, I'm going to put that in my recap email tomorrow just so you can see it. If there's any superintendents on, reminder that the nominations are due by Tuesday, February 20th. And if your superintendent's not on, you can give them a little nudge to remind them to get it in, because we want to make sure every district, as many districts as possible in Morris County, can be represented at the Unsung Heroes. All board members, guests, school administration, and staff are going to get invites to attend. We hope as many of you as possible can attend this year. Those invites will go out by the last week of February, so you can register for the event at CCM. When you get the invite, I think you can see my screen still, right here at the top, if you're a superintendent on or school staff, this first link here is to put in your nomination. The second link is for the students and families to register. And then this last link is for board members and guests to register for the event at CCM. So that is Unsung Heroes. And just a little bit more on what Bernadette said about the band and the color guard. We do need a volunteer. Unfortunately, Mount Olive cannot do it this year. CCM will provide the chairs and the music stands for the bands. All you have to provide are the students and the instruments that they play. So please contact Bernadette or me if you are interested. Basically, the students would arrive by 5. You'll have from 5 to 6 to set up and practice, and then everything will be done by about 6:45. So not too long of a commitment, and we appreciate anyone that can help. Bernadette also asked me to go over NJSBA Connection real quick. So here is the homepage to NJSBA Connection. From our webpage, if you want to find it, you go right over the Our Services tab, and right down there it says NJSBA Connection. The login should work. It should be a single sign-on, so the same login that you sign in for SWOGO today, for the website, and for Connection is all the same. If you click right up here at the top where it says Communities, and you go to My Communities, you will see, you won't see all these, but you'll see one that says active board members and charter trustees. That's for every board member right now in the whole state. And then we have a separate one just for Morris County SBA. And then presidents and vice presidents, you have that new third one. So just real quick, a quick view of it. There's documents and links. So Ray posted pictures from your last in-person meetings. This is where tomorrow I'll post the recording for this meeting and the materials that we use for this meeting. Under discussions, people have been posting different discussion topics. Matthew DeVito, who just left the Parsippany board, he did a thank you for the last meeting. So you could take a look on here, and we encourage you to ask questions and participate on here, and meet and greet and send salutations to other board members across the state and Morris County. Thank you, Bernadette.
Oh, thank you, the ever-capable Rob Achera, our county coordinator. And honestly, without Rob, we'd be nowhere. So again, Rob, you have my deepest appreciation. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get to one of our main events, and that is pilot programs. Please allow me to introduce Justin Masella. Justin is a first-term councilman in Parsippany Troy Hills. He has been active in politics since an early age, having worked as a volunteer on Governor Christie's campaign in 2009, then eventually becoming chair of the Morris County Young Republicans in 2019 and 2020. Justin made his run for local office in 2020, where he was the top vote getter in a crowded primary and in a competitive general election. The focus of his campaign was to keep Parsippany the safe, prosperous, and community-oriented township his constituents know and love. Even before taking the oath of office, Justin was ranked 11th on Insider New Jersey's 2021 list of most influential millennials in New Jersey politics. Justin was honored by the New Jersey Globe for being selected as having one of the best run campaigns in 2020. Masella was ranked by Insider New Jersey as the 13th most influential millennial in politics as of 2022, and recently Insider New Jersey ranked him as the 10th most influential millennial in politics in 2023. Unafraid to take a controversial position, Musella separated himself from his GOP colleagues in Parsippany by voting against 2 large tax increases and a union mandate for large ticket taxpayer-funded project. He also led the charge against the mayor's pilots for developers in December, resulting in a historic turnout of over 900 residents protesting the final vote. Musella strongly believes in helping a new generation of Republican leaders find their voice in the state of New Jersey and is eager to be a leader in this effort. Please give Justin a very big and large Marsh County welcome. Justin, thank you. It's all yours.
Thank you, Bernadette. I couldn't have written it better myself.
I agree.
And, I first and foremost, want to give a shout out to all of my Parsippany Board of Ed members that I see out there who also in my PowerPoint were the true heroes in this story for the fight that we'll talk about. I want to thank the Marsh County School Board Association for having me on tonight and for educating you about what was a pretty ominous chapter in Parsippany political history, and also a lot of the learning that came out of it. So that way, for pilots that are coming near you from developers, you guys can be equipped, you guys can be armed and ready to defend your school districts and get yourselves a seat at the table. And then after my slide deck, I'm happy to make it available. I'll send it to Bernadette so she can distribute it along with my contact information. So that way, if any of you have questions, you can contact me. And I'm always happy to be a resource and an ally for you guys, regardless of where you might be in Morris County. So with that said, I'm ready to get into it. I'm going to share my screen. And then we'll make sure everybody can see my screen. I'm just going to move myself here.
Perfect.
Can everybody see my slide deck so far?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, great. All right. So let's first talk about what pilots are. Payment in lieu of taxes. So these all are alternative tax arrangements whereby developments that might not be feasible under normal circumstances are given an alternative tax arrangement by a municipality. And they really stem from the 1967 Newark riots. That's how they came into being, where places were completely burned down to the ground and were truly blighted in the real sense of the word, that the market couldn't produce investors to come to in an area and redevelop that area that would ultimately benefit the community. So why do developers want them? Because essentially it's a long-term break on their property taxes, because in New Jersey, you pay your school taxes, which is generally 66%, and then the remainder goes to the municipality, the library, the county, the open space. And they've become a lightning rod for controversy because, in particular, what happens under a lot of these arrangements is that the school boards are left out. And traditionally, if you're a homeowner or you're a commercial owner, you're paying your taxes the standard rate to the municipality in which you're located. However, when it comes to a pilot, that money is going directly to the municipality. So the municipality is receiving 95% of that money, and then the other 5% is going to the county. So clearly, the major hole in pilots up front is that the school boards are left out from their legally entitled portion of the share. Now, sometimes you might hear, well, the municipality will pay the school boards bills in the end, but as we'll talk about, that is complete gaslighting. Because while the municipality might be paying the school board's bill, because the municipality is a pass-through entity for the school board, what you'll see is that there are deficits that come from pilots, and those have to be made up somehow. And as I said, 95% of the municipality will receive the money, and then the other 5% goes to the county. And that 95% that's coming to us is going right to our general fund. So it gives us, the municipal officials, a lot of discretionary income that we can essentially spend however we'd like. There are instances under some pilots where a school board will get some portion of taxable revenue that comes from the land, but in many cases there's land tax credits in these pilots, which essentially rebates what the developer pays on the land. So in essence, the school board receives zero in the end. And so since pilots make a property tax exempt, these are not ratables. They are not a part of the taxable base. They are just paying into the town's general fund. So if a municipal official is saying that this is economic development, it's not, it's taxpayer funded development. And now how pilots work is generally these are, they can be as short as 5 years and they can be as long as 30 years. And the municipality has a lot of leeway in how these agreements are structured. But when it comes to the actual way, I just want to move this so you guys can actually see the, so you can see the title of the slide. When it comes to the actual structure, generally speaking, the floor for a pilot in lieu of the taxes, 10% of the annual revenue generated by the project is what's going to go to the municipality. And that can escalate over the term of the pilot. It can go to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15%. It all really depends on what is negotiated in the agreement, or if it's for a project that's going to take longer to build and longer to come online, then it's going to be a percentage of the actual project costs are going to go to the municipality. There are some things that don't factor into the pilot, like amenity fees, insurance. So when a municipality is determining a pilot, it's important to try and capture all of the aspects of revenue that the developer themselves is getting from the property to maximize the share of revenue that the town can receive. And it's extremely important when these agreements are being made that there's a process in place. Because if it's not spelled out in the actual agreement, the developer, after these financial agreements are executed, have an enormous sway over the municipality. So what's really critical for school board members is that the moment that they hear a pilot is being negotiated, you need to get your seat at the table, because these agreements, depending on how they're structured, can be very harmful if the school board is left out, if there isn't anything baked into the agreement where you guys are getting a portion of your revenue. So I want to talk a little bit about Parsippany as a case study for pilots. It was very controversial, and it'll put a lot of gray hairs on my head. But long story short, the day after our most recent election in November of 2023, the mayor decided to put pilots on our council agenda. So this was for a lame duck council session where we had retiring council members, and they were going to be coming in January. And this was as much of a ready, aim, fire process as you could get. These pilots were put onto the agenda with minimal information or no information published to the public at all. And worst of all, the school board was never even notified. And you're talking about 6 projects, which amounts to hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes that were at stake for the Board of Ed and for the families of Parsippany. So a lot was on the line. And throughout the course of our meetings, there wasn't a single resident that spoke in favor of these pilots, or at least thought that what they were getting was a good deal. One of my favorite quotes came from a resident that said, "If pilots are filet mignon, you guys serve this on a garbage can lid." And some of the ways in which we were able to engage the public, which really grew this into a town-wide issue, despite the mayor wanting this to be something that nobody knew about, wanted it to be an under the radar, let's put it on the agenda of a lame duck council session and pass this as fast as we could. So what did we do? Well, first, on the council side, I was the only person that had any questions, that was opposed to these agreements and wanted to hit the pause button. And so immediately I made all of the Board of Ed members aware of what was happening. And we circulated a lot of information through e-blasts. We contacted the local journal, the local newspapers in town, the Parsippany Focus, the Tap Into, the Patch, the Daily Record, to bring awareness to this issue. Because when you are the lone person on a vote, while you might not have the votes themselves, you do have the power of the bully pulpit, and that is to speak out and to fight and avail yourselves of all means. So as soon as the Board of Ed got engaged, they started getting people to come to the meetings, and they started speaking out. They wrote a letter to the Focus, making the public aware, and then through their communications committee, they also did some very noticeable statements opposing these pilots. And what you see in that picture is during the testimony in favor of the pilots, that gentleman happens to be our tax assessor, who I was questioning, because in 2019, our own tax assessor, who's highly respected in the appraisal community, tax assessment community, wrote that pilots were a pyramid scheme. And in 4 years, he had a completely different change of heart. Now, I will tell you, it was probably mainly due to the mayor pressuring him to have a change of heart. And you know, he had a lot to answer, but there was no good argument he could make that pyramid schemes are good in some are good in bad markets and bad in good markets. So he really had no leg to stand on. You know, after some of the meetings where we had testimony, I decided the public wasn't getting the truth, and because the entire process was so rushed, we decided to do our own town hall, where myself and current board president Andy Chaffo and a commercial real estate broker, Ken Kaplan, who does business in town, all made arguments for why they shouldn't be, the pilots should not have progressed. Ken Kaplan, a commercial real estate broker who's very familiar with the real estate scene, poked a lot of holes in the mayor's argument that Parsippany had blighted areas, that Parsippany wasn't desirable, and that Parsippany needed to give tax breaks or else developers wouldn't come. And one of the things that was so ironic is throughout the course of this whole episode, the mayor and the administration on our own website posted an article of how Parsippany was ranked the top 100 hottest real estate market nationwide. It might still be up there, but if there's no better way to discredit yourself than to, cause an unforced error like that, they made a major one. But the commercial real estate broker pointed to Parsippany's unique real estate assets, its proximity to the major highways, its growing and diverse population, the fact that there's already a lot of redevelopment underway with notable large tenants coming, like Chick-fil-A, Topgolf, Gilead, that all are coming to Parsippany and have received no pilots. So the market is already underway without the need of tax breaks. I articulated the reasoning why pilots were harmful, mainly from the transparency part and how there was no process. The stakeholders weren't engaged. The Board of Ed, our own Economic Development Committee, and many others weren't bought in. And then Andy, during this town hall, spoke about, what the impacts would be and how severely diminished the educational capacity of the Parsippany BOE would be if this came to pass. And that got almost 200 people to attend. And in the run-up to the final vote, we had residents that were reaching out to us begging, what can we do? How can we stop this? And I encourage them, because let's face it, not everybody wants to hear from a politician. And I think that, arguments from residents of how they'll be impacted are always the most powerful. So I'm just going to play this video that came from a resident.
There's no sound.
There's no sound. You have to hit share screen again and click that share sound button.
Share screen.
And then I think on the bottom left, there's a checkbox. It's a share computer sound.
Oh, let's see here. Let's see if this works.
No. No, it's
I've
all-
got caption, but no sound.
It says it's muted.
Did it not
Not
go?
No.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm not seeing any option here.
All right, Rob, maybe you can fix it. Justin, unfortunately, let's move on, see if Rob can fix that. Play with that slide, Rob. Please, thank you.
Hold on. Right before this, oh no, too far.
Hello, my name is Jenna Pito and I am a resident of Parsippany and the parent of 2 high school-aged children. I am concerned about the pilot agreements Parsippany has recently made despite the disapproval expressed by residents. Pilot programs will increase our tax burden and pull funding away from our school district. Our town and school board need a show of support at the upcoming town council meeting this Thursday at 1 p.m. This time is chosen to limit the public response, but I will be there to let the town council know that this is not okay, and I hope that every resident who can show up will.
Nice.
So that was a firsthand. Thank you for that, Rob. I'll share my screen. Let me share my screen again. But firsthand testimony is always the best from parents and people who will actually be impacted by these. And just so you guys know the context for that video, that was done in the run-up to the final vote. Let me just turn off these subtitles. Okay, that was done in the run-up to the final vote. And so one of the things that had a huge impact was the resolution that came out from the Board of Ed that opposed the residential pilots that were being given out. And residential pilots are extremely harmful to boards of ed because you talk about a building that sends 95% of its revenue to the town. And when there are school-age children coming from that residential dwelling, the school board has to make up that difference. Either it's going to be done through cuts to programs, or they're going to have to try and get the state to approve going outside the cap. And those tax increases are made up by the average taxpayer, which is why pilots are really reverse Robin Hood schemes, where it's the working families that pay the taxes that the developers don't pay when they're given a pilot, especially for a residential building, which is the most harmful. And in Parsippany, 3 of the 6 pilots were residential in nature, 2 were for warehouses, and 1 was for a gym, which when I contacted Trenton, and I asked the Department of Community Affairs if they knew of any other gyms in the state of New Jersey that received the pilot, they said they couldn't even name one. So it was really just it really was an absurd and abuse of this program. And the Board of Ed played a critical role in trying to stop the final vote, which occurred on December 28th. We held a protest. There was a lot of earned media from News 12, the Parsippany Focus, Tappan 2. They all were covering it. They were all covering it, and they did a great job in mobilizing people to get to that meeting. And we had over 900 people come out to that meeting. We always knew it was going to pass 4-1. Our best hope was to try and shut down the PAL by exceeding the fire capacity. In my hearts of heart, I believe we did it, but the fire marshal was mysteriously not there for the first hour of that meeting, and we'll never know why. But you know, this is the information that I really want you guys to come away from, is being educated about why pilots are so harmful. They're harmful because they deprive the school board of the necessary taxes that pay the bills. And when you have pilots being given to residential buildings, the buildings will produce school children. Don't ever let a developer tell you they won't. They're going to probably tell you that their building will be a barbell building. A barbell building means that it's going to have young millennials without kids, or it's going to be empty nesters and no families in there. But when you have the affordable housing component in these residential dwellings, you're getting children. What school boards should also do, they should also have a seat at the table, as I mentioned before. As soon as you hear a pilot is being negotiated, because you're legally not entitled to any of these payments, it's important that you mobilize your parents, the teachers, anybody that's going to be impacted by this, to exert influence on the local elected officials like myself who negotiate these agreements. And it's imperative if it's a residential dwelling that's getting a pilot, that absolutely will be a disaster for a school board. So it's imperative that you get as many people to those council meetings, that write letters to the editor, that post on social media, and that cause spectacles like protests that get the eyeballs and get people engaged who normally might not be paying attention in town. What should also be done is pushing that if there are pilots that are going to be negotiated, that there be a committee formed where you have members of the public, members of the real estate community, members of the governing body, and members of the school board that can do an analysis to produce the best possible pilot that works for everyone. Contrary to what happened to Parsippany, you should have the financial projections up front. We had council members voting on these agreements without any financials, which to me was a complete dereliction of your duty to advance policy without even knowing what is in it. And then if the process is rushed or if it's done during a lame duck session, it's probably not going to be to the benefit of the school board. And that is all of the lessons. That's all the information that I have. I've spent probably 15 or 20 minutes talking about pilots and Parsippany. I could spend 15 or 20 hours talking to you about it, but I'm so happy to be on this call with you all tonight and to answer any questions or address any concerns or points that you'd like to make.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Justin. Very much appreciate it. It was very informative, and I know I'm seeing in the chat room already people have questions. However, at this time, and Justin will be available for questions in chat room number 3 when we break up. But right now, I'm going to bring on John Burns, and John is one of the senior legislative counsels at New Jersey School Boards Association, and he's going to talk about an assembly bill that is in the works that could possibly give boards of education 60% of pilot programs. John, take it away.
Thank you so much, Bernadette. So there is currently an Assembly Bill A 1107, and I'll put a link to it in the chat when I'm done speaking, that would mandate the following with regard to the agreements with the municipality when it comes to the pilot agreement. What it says is that under the bill, municipalities would also be required to remit certain portions of the pilots to the school districts that serve the municipality, including those school districts that are part of regional school districts. Specifically for residential property, the municipality would be required to provide to school districts with an amount equal to the product of 1, the number of school-age children who attend a public school or regional school district that serves the municipality and who reside in the project, and the base per pupil amount determined by the Commissioner of Education for the previous year. Alternatively, this amount would equal 5% of the pilot or an in-kind contribution equal in value to that amount if the long-term tax exemption concerns non-residential or mixed-use property. When an amount is remitted to more than one school district, the amount would be divided amongst those districts in proportion to each district's share of the local tax levy in the municipality. So, and this is a bill that actually came out of previous legislative sessions. It is a bill that NJSBA does support. As many of the long-term board members know, NJSBA does have policy in this area and supports the sharing of the revenue with the school districts when a pilot is created. So that's a brief rundown of the bill that's currently in the legislature. Right now, it does not have a date for the hearing, but it is a bill that has been around since at least 2014. So as always, with any bill that improves conditions for boards of education, NJSBA will certainly make a concerted effort to make sure that this bill makes its way through the legislature. Thank you.
All right, John, thank you very much for that update. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will begin our breakout programs. Breakout room number 1, how does your board handle this, with the famous duo, Irene and Charlene. And breakout room number 2, governmental relations update with John Burns, senior legislative counsel with NJSBA. And of course, room number 3 is the pilot programs, questions and answers, and more and further discussion with Justin, who just did the presentation. So, Rob, get us to our rooms.
You're on mute, Rob.
Thank you. I should unmute myself. We're gonna be in 30 minutes, so I'll send a message when it's time to switch. Right now, I'm gonna open the rooms and our presenters are gonna disappear. There they go. Now, everyone else should have gotten a button that said breakout rooms, did we?
No.
Okay, if not, on the bottom of your screen where it says more, click more and hit breakout rooms.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, yes.
Now you could choose which breakout room you want to go to. Let's see. Oh, people are moving.
Okay, I'm not finding this, Robert.
Okay, which one do you want to go to, Joanne?
I'd like to go to number 2.
Okay, I'm sending you there. Anyone else don't see doesn't see the button? Can't talk.
Hi, it's Michelle Chappelle. I don't see the button either.
Which one would you like to go to?
Number 3, please.
There you go.
Rob, would you please send me to number 3?
Of course.
Thank you.
Bernadette 3.
Rob, I'm having trouble finding the button as well. Sorry.
It's okay. Is that Rob? Yes. Which number would you want to go to?
The one with John Burns, please.
Okay.
Rob, it's Peter. Can you send me to Charlene and Irene?
Yeah.
Rob, this is Saffron. Can you send me to Charlene, please?
Yep. Who else? Karen, you need help? Oh, she got it. Anyone else? You can unmute, let me know. Oh, some of us did. Robin and Jen, you're still here.
Hi, it's Carrie Santa Lucia. Would you mind sending me to room 2?
Yeah. Oh, no problem, Jen. Wait, Robert, I'm sorry, I'm sending you. Jen says speed up.
What do I have to do?
Okay, do you see the breakout rooms button?
Where's the break room? No, where is it?
Under more.
Where?
Under more on the bottom. Do you see more?
Hold on, let me get my daughter. Dana,
Which one do you want to go? I just sent you. Which one do you want to go to?
I just did the one about the taxes.
You want to go to that one?
With
Okay.
Parsippany.
Yep. There you go.
we are actually done for the evening. And I just want to say thank you to our presenters, to Justin Muselli, who came out tonight and did a perfect and wonderful presentation. I want to thank John Burns for taking his time. And of course, the dynamic duo of Charlene and Irene. Can't do anything without you two. And again, thank you to everyone who showed up tonight. If anybody has any questions or concerns, please reach out directly to me. And thank you all. Have a good evening, a good weekend, and we'll see you March 20th at County College of Morris with your unsung heroes. Thank you all.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.